festive when we get the loot, Chaz. Chaz, do you think she'll be able to find that dear departed husband of mine? Vinny?
Keep your voice down, Beryl. I haven't spent the last 7 years at Her Majesty's pleasure to sort out your ugly mug. I forked out 20 quid for this malarkey, and I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't the last resort. Now, don't forget, we are trying to find the family fortune we've lost.
Yeah. You know, I'll never forgive that brother of yours for running off with that 23-year-old slapper from Barking. And on our 25th wedding anniversary too. Some husband he was. She weren't nothing special, just because she worked in a bakery.
He probably liked her because she had big buns. My brother always had a sweet tooth.
Well, thank you very much, brother-in-law. You slapped my buns too.
Look, Beryl, we're here to find out what happened for the loot from the Romford bank job. Vinny and me, we scarpered after the alarm went off. We got split up. I got nabbed and Vinny got cleaned away. Later on, we found he was knocked down and killed with not the loot on him. We're trying to find out where it is. It must be somewhere on this manor.
Yeah, and with the Grey Twins waiting for their cut from the robbery. They're setting up the job. Oh, they've waited 7 years. And they're getting impatient and nasty.
Okay.
Hello. I've never been to a seance before. What was the medium's name, Evie? Pardon? What was the medium's name?
Madam Peteruska says she's a Russian.
This must be her house then. Oh, it's gloomy. All this dark furniture and those curtains. It's spooky, it gives me the creeps.
Yeah, and she don't spend any money on heating either. It smells dank in here. Enough to freeze the boxes of a brass monkey. Don't I know you?
No, I don't think so. I got that kind of face. People always think they know who I am.
I never forget a face, forget everything else, but I'm good with faces. Are you a gardener?
No, that happened to be my dear departed brother's line of work.
I do recognise him. His face was in all the papers. It was about that Romford bank robbery. It was about that Romford bank robbery. You know, they never did recover any money, hundreds of thousands of pounds it was.
Sorry, my friend Evie doesn't see too well.
I can speak for myself, thank you, Margot.
Well, I was just introducing ourselves. She doesn't hear too well either.
Good afternoon, and welcome. I am Madame Pietrowska. I'm glad to see that you have all made yourselves at home. You are Mr. and Mrs. Deacon?
Well, sort of. I'm Chaz, Mrs. Beryl. This is my sister-in-law. She was married to my dear departed brother.
And you are?
Well, I'm Margot, and this is my friend Evie. She's the one who actually wants to find
I can speak for myself, thank you, Margot. I'm here to contact my dear Bertie, who passed just last month.
Wonderful. May we please begin by all holding hands while we contact the spirit world.
Do I have to?
It helps to make the connection. May I please ask you to be silent while we try to connect them? Is anybody there? I'm sorry, I'm not getting anything. Perhaps someone has something that belonged to the deceased. Something that he or she wore.
I got these. They're Billy's dog tags from when he did his national service. Do you think they'll do?
Yeah, I guess so.
These belong to my dear departed husband, Vincent. Thank you.
She needs something of Bertie's, Evie.
This is Bertie's dog tag. He wore it all the time.
Yes. Yes, the spirits are with us. Someone has stepped out of the mist. I see fingers with lots of rings. A man with grey hair. And a scar on his right hand cheek.
A scar on his right hand cheek.
It's not Bertie.
Hush,
It's not Bertie.
hush. He seems to be wearing flippers.
Vinny, it's got to be Vinny. He wore size 16 shoes.
Yeah, his feet always turn the corner before he did.
He says, yes, he says he wants you to know something. He says he's always with you. He is looking over you all the time. He says he is concerned for your health. Yes. Something about two angry brothers. A warehouse by a dark river. Meat hooks.
It's got to be the Grey Twins. We've got electric chairs. Come on.
No, Beryl, sit down. We're here to find out what happened to the loot. The family fortune. Madam Pig, help us. Do you, can you find out where the family fortune is? It's really important. It's a matter of life and death.
He is becoming distant. He says something about a little canvas bag, a little wooden hut. Oh no, he is drifting away.
No,
he can't.
He can't.
Hush, hush, hush. Yes. Someone else is here now. He says he's sorry that he had to leave you so suddenly. He misses all those long walks.
It's Bertie. He loved those long walks. I can't say I particularly miss them. He used to rush off into the bushes. I couldn't keep up with him half the time. Weak lad, you know.
Oh, yes, yes. He also wants you to know, he's trying to tell you about a garden, something about a garden. Do you have a garden? And a tree? Do you have a big tree?
Yes, lots of trees. We have a big garden. We had to employ a gardener, you know. You remember that gardener, that shifty bloke we employed some years ago? Was his name Benny or something?
It was Benny, it was something like that.
Lazy devil he was. You know, last time he came, he just disappeared into the shed, fiddled about in there. I had a fag, cleared off, Well, we were going to sack him, but funny thing is, we didn't see him again.
Did you say you lived in Barking?
Barking? Oh no. Ilford?
Edgerton Close. Is it a big house, did you say?
Well, it's the only house in Edgerton Close. Rest of bungalows, you know. But what's it got to do with you?
Canvas bag, shed, her shed, Edgerton Close. Come on, Beryl, let's go.
Sorry, Madam Pea Shooter.
Come on, Beryl.
Got to go. Bye, emergency. Bye.
Look, how very rude. And why were they going on about garden sheds?
Don't talk to me about garden sheds. Do you know, the last time that shifty bloke came, he put a great big canvas bag into the shed. Well, when he came out, he must have thrown his bag into the bushes because it caught light, burnt the shed down. Nothing left but ashes. My husband made a lovely veggie garden out of it.
Oh, ladies, can we please continue trying to contact your beloved husband, Bertie?
Bertie's not a husband. Jack was a husband. He's been dead for years.
Then whoever is Bertie.
Bertie was Evie's dog.
Oh!
That's his dog tag you got there. Oh, he was the light of her life.
Wouldn't you have been trying to contact a blooming dog? Well, Gordon Bennett, I've heard it all now. What do you expect this dog to tell you?
Well, if you must know, madam, whatever your real name is, I just wanted to know that he was happy under his tree. Come on, Margot, let's go. Told you she was a fool.
Well, to be fair, Evie, she did get it right about Bertie and his long walks. And she, you know that Jack never walked further than the pub. He didn't like walking at all. And the deacons did seem very interested in what they heard.
Something for that sunny border of mine, you know, in the garden by the hedge. What would you suggest?
I know where you mean, Kath. You need something hardy, but attractive, and with lots of height.
Oh, something to build all the structure, as Monty Don would say.
Yes, well, I would suggest Melba sylvestrum grandiflora.
What?
A mallow. Oh, a beautiful shrub with pink and purple flowers, lots of them, and it flowers the whole summer.
That sounds lovely, Rosie. And I'm so glad I ran into you. I do find garden centres so very confusing. But I must sit down my poor feet, and I really could do with a cuppa.
Sounds a good idea. Me too. Look, stay there, and I'll go and fetch us a pot of tea for two. Would you fancy some cake?
Oh, that sounds lovely.
They're all homemade.
Thanks so much. If you've got time, you are a dear.
Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing. Was that Rosemary Booker? She used to live just outside the village. Her father had a small market garden.
Yes, that is Rosie, and I think her father did have a small business. But she's not Booker, she's...
We went to the same primary school, a local primary school. Well, that's until the 11th plus. Then I went to grammar school, and I suppose Rosemary went to the local comprehensive. Oh, yes. I remember dear little Rosemary. I'm very sorry, I don't know.
Catherine, well, Kathy.
Oh, very nice to meet you, Kathy. So you're not local?
Oh, no. We moved here from London about 20 years ago. So glad we did.
What a coincidence. Well, you see, I moved to London after university about 40 years ago. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Excuse me, haven't introduced myself. My name's Hugo Black.
Hugo Black, the author.
Oh, right, yes.
I've read all your books. Well, this is exciting.
Here we are, tea for two.
Rosie, look who's here.
I was going to pop back and get the cakes.
Rosemary, do you remember me?
Derek?
Miss Davis's class, Norton Primary?
Derek? Derek? It is.
No, Ned, Rosie, this is Hugo. Hugo Black, the Hugo Black.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wrong person. I'll go and get the cake.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Black. She obviously...
No,
I don't
no, no, no,
understand. She obviously doesn't remember.
It's my fault entirely. You see, I am Derek Biggins. Well, I was Derek Biggins, but you know, names, agents.
Oh, poor Rosie. She'll be so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I just never thought.
Poor Rosemary, indeed. Oh dear, she always was a bit of a shrinking violet. She still lives around here then. Is she married?
No, afraid not. There was talk of a fiancé, but a road accident. Very sad. She never talks about it.
No. From what I remember of little Rosemary, she always was really quite a private person. So, she lives around here. I mean, what does she do now? Looking at her apron, I suppose she works in this garden centre.
I suppose you could say that.
Yes, I'm not surprised. Rosemary was never what you would call ambitious.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I do know. It was always pretty clear that Rosemary would never be a high flyer. Too quiet, always kept herself to herself. Sat at the back of the classroom.
Where you, Mr. Black, have really made something of your life.
Please call me Hugo. Well, yes, I suppose you could say that. 11 bestsellers, 3 series of my Inspector Dark novels for the television, and now they've asked me to write the screenplay for an upcoming film of my last novel, Deadly Nightshade.
Oh, I've read that. A really good whodunit.
Thank you.
So
That's
we're making a film then?
why I'm here, really. I mean, my agent, Jerry, is arranging a sort of photo shoot, a promo video of a book signing for the press and TV things.
Oh, of course. Deadly Nightshade. Set in a country garden centre.
Well, exactly. And Jerry thought it would have more interest if I were to return to my roots, as it were. And fortunately, Bowers has a chain of prestige garden centres all over southern England, including here. So he's rented a little place for me down here, and I'm here checking this place out. It seems ideal. Of course, I have to arrange things with the manager, Mr. Carter, I believe.
Oh, yes, Mr. Gordon Carter. He's a lovely young chap, and I'm sure he'd be delighted. So where's this cottage you're renting, Hugo?
Oh, well, it's just outside the village. It's up Manor Lane. You know, the Norton Manor estate. Well, it's the gatehouse cottage to Norton Manor itself, you know, bloody great place behind the trees.
Rosie, you look right. This is Derek Biggins. He changed his name to Hugo Black, you know, the author. He wrote the Inspector Dark TV series.
Really? Inspector Dark? I'm not sure of those.
Rose.
Oh, where do you write them, Derek?
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
Well,
my. Well, I never. It's been so long.
Oh.
How lovely to see you again.
long time indeed, Rosemary. Here we are. A little older, somewhat changed, but you're still the little Rosemary I once knew.
Well, we all change, don't we?
Yes, indeed.
So, Derek, I believe you moved away from here, so somebody said.
Yes. Well, after university, I got a job with a top London publishers, started writing, and I got myself one of the very best literary agents, and had my first novel published, and very well reviewed. Saved all the rest. Soon I was mixing with the arty set, you know, the artists and poets, and authors and actors. Oh yeah, most of the A-listers are now my chums.
Well, how about that, Rosie, you went to school with somebody famous who's got lots of famous friends.
Yeah.
Well, who would have thought that? Me, Rosemary, sitting here, talking to Hugo Black, the author? Well, I never. So, Derek, sorry, I mean Hugo. Do you know Inspector Dark?
What?
The actor, I mean.
Oh, you mean Benedict? Oh, yeah. Benny and I hang out all the time together. And what about you, Rosemary? I mean, do you live locally? I mean, you're still here?
No. This
You
garden
still live
centre.
in your parents' cottage, the one with the garden centre?
No. This garden centre was built on the site. Where we're sitting now is actually where the old cottage used to be.
Oh.
It sometimes makes me wish but it's too late now.
Oh, poor Rosemary. We've got a good price for that. These big companies, they run roughshod over everybody.
No, Derek, you don't understand.
No, I think I do, Rosemary. And it can't be what the land was worth. Otherwise, why are you working in a big garden centre? So where do you live now?
Just up Manor Lane, actually.
Manor? What a coincidence! My goodness, we're practically neighbours. Although not close.
You're very close neighbours, actually.
No, I don't understand. There are no houses or cottages anywhere near my place.
No, you don't understand, do you, Mr. Biggins? You are very close neighbours. You're living in Rosie's gatehouse. She
What?
lives in Norton Grange. And the name's not Rosemary Booker, it's Bower. The owner and founder of the Bowers chain. And you're wrong. Rosie got exactly what she wanted.
Yes, I did. And, well, Derek, can I get you a pot of tea? And some cake? They're all homemade.
Well, bugger me.
Come on, kids, hurry up. This side of Christmas will be good. Come on. Can the last person close the door at the back? Leave that open, we'll be in trouble. Right, okay. Come on, stop flapping around. What are you doing?
Sorry, they're terrible. Yeah, running late tonight. Hi, Irene.
Right, sorry, running late tonight. Hello. All right. Sit down. Right, now. Right. Yes. Right, you're all here. Right.
All right. I feel about the last episode.
Right, okay, now. Right, we're all four gathered. Put that phone away. Yeah, put it away. I hope you all got your phone switched on. Right, now. This is the big one, kids. The final episode of the murder mystery. Now, I've got to explain. The reason I know everybody's really winding on about why we got the scripts. I know all the other 4 episodes that we've heard this week, the public have heard from Isle of Wight Radio, have been recorded, right? We've always recorded in this studio, which is dead easy. Make a mistake, doesn't matter, we can re-record. But tonight, they want it live. And they want the scripts to come out just today, because they don't want any of you leaking who did it. So this is why we've only got the scripts now, so don't start looking at them. Wendy. Right, now, listen, tonight, the studio we've got, Bev,
Yeah.
the studio we've got has only got one mic. You're not going to have individual mics, so can we pretend the mic is here? So can you sort of nudge Come in. Right. Imagine the mic will be there. So you're going to have to speak up. Do you understand that? Right, Sally, there's yours.
Thank you.
Bow. Right, now it should be okay, fine, because you've had the whole week. You've been doing your characters. Chris? Why are you wearing that? I've never seen you like that before. I'm trying to get into character, darling. Christopher, this is a radio play. Who's going to see you? God. Right, okay. Irene, Jeanette, and me. Now, I am appearing tonight for the first time. I am going to be Inspector Kingston, right? I've not been in it so far. It's all been down to you. And they say the response has been very good from the audience. So this is, and we've got to crack it now because live tonight, no mistakes, right? Okay, deep breaths, everybody. Now, before we go,
Just a minute.
What?
Mabel's not here yet, Michael. Is she coming
Listen.
tonight?
hold on. Mabel plays Doris Creech, right? You are all members of the village horticultural society, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to
but
explain this. No, listen. So, she died in the last episode. Do you remember? We had the annual general meeting. Everybody in the village hated Doris Creech because she was the local postmistress. She knew everybody's secrets, and everybody had a reason for doing her in, right? Okay. So, she was done in. Why would she be here tonight?
because she wanted to know who done it. I saw her for coffee yesterday and she said she was definitely going to be here today.
Oh,
She
bless.
said it's really, it's really
Well, she
unusual.
could have
She
done,
should be here by now.
Oh, we should know this one before.
No, she's always here.
Oh, well, never mind. Okay, so let's just go round to remind yourselves and to make sure we're using the right voices. Can we go round and describe our characters? Right. Val, who are you?
And Hilda Jones served a prison sentence for fraud and now the horticultural treasurer.
Sue. Okay, Sal, who are you, darling?
Well, actually, I'm Daisy Lovelace. And I was a dominatrix.
What, you ran a brothel?
I did. Oh, they're very lucrative.
So she would have had that over you, wouldn't she? Doris Creek. Right, Creek. What about you? You are...
I'm Annette Crowner. I'm pretending to be a spinster. I'm actually hiding from an abusive husband.
Oh, poor girl. How awful. And you certainly don't want the village knowing that, do you? Right. Okay. And you, Christopher, are who?
I'm Vivian Percy. I have a secret lover who's a counsellor.
Right, okay. Don't get into character too much. Okay. And, right, Jeanette, who are you, darling?
Well, my character.
Oh, can you use your voices, please, that you were using in the play?
Oh, I'm Daphne Drinkwater, a young cook, and she actually managed to kill off all her rivals' prized tomato plants.
By accident.
Oh, yeah.
No,
accident.
that's not what everybody else thought. Okay, and you, Wendy, who are you?
I am Moira McDuff, and I am Scottish housekeeper to Father O'Leary, and outside of working hours, I am house mistress.
Okay, and Beth, who are you?
I am Madame Jacqueline de Bois. I am a widow, or a war widow, but in reality, my husband is serving a prison sentence for murder in France.
Mon Dieu. Right, okay. So anyway, remember, tonight it's live, so if you, for God's sake, don't lose your accents, right? Try and do your accents. I was going to do this in West Country, but I'm going to do it up north now, right, okay? Okay, right, I start. Okay. Inspector Kingston.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have all been asked to come here to police headquarters to clarify some outstanding details of your initial statements given to Sergeant Williams after the unfortunate incident on Wednesday. Since then, we have been able to establish that Miss Creech's death in the church hall during the meeting of the Village Horticultural Society was not from natural causes.
Good heavens!
Listen, don't go overboard. Just give a quiet surprise, will you?
But it says explanations, Michael, and that's what we explain.
Oh God, can we just get on with it? I'm going to get to Sainsbury's before lunch.
Well, tests have revealed that Miss Quitch died from ingesting a very large and lethal dose of glyphosate weed killer. Further tests reveal that this gel was also found in the jam spread on the remains of the scone she had been eating.
Poison jam? Oh God! I had 2 scones and I had jam on both.
Crikey, so did I. How do you feel? Oh my goodness, how quickly does it take effect?
Ladies, oh, and you, sir, there is no need for alarm. All tests show that no other food remains were contaminated, just the one eaten by Miss Quitch.
Mon Dieu! So that means the poison had been deliberately put in one scone's jam? Michael, can't I rephrase that? Sounds really clumsy.
How about deliberately putting the jam of just one scone?
Or you could say that one scone had the jam put in.
Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Look, if you've all got a line you can't say, just rephrase it yourself, all right? Let me just get on. Jeanette, it's your turn.
Oh, me? Sorry, I seem to be lost. Where are we, Chris? My goodness, that means that someone deliberately wanted to kill poor Doris Quitch.
Poor Doris, indeed. She was a vicious, vindictive old beggar. Not one of us liked her.
Oh, you can say that again, Maura. Oh, she had a face like a slap botty, and she spread the most dreadful gossip about yours truly. Sometimes I could have happily murdered her myself.
But even so, Julian, nothing excuses murder. It was murder, wasn't it, Inspector?
Oh, indeed it was, Miss Crowther, which begs the question, who among you is a murderer?
My note just made the sons.
Ah, but did she spread the poison jam? And why on only $1?
She's right. How do you get poison onto just one particular
Instead of just guessing, why don't we just read the bloody thing? Right, carry on.
Sir, we will have to try to remember who bought the jam.
Well, I bought the jam. I made it myself. I always bring the jam, but it certainly wasn't poison.
Oh, don't get your knickers in a twist, Daphne. We all served ourselves, remember? Anyway,
And of course, those of us that had skin spread our own jam, which was lovely, Daphne.
Ladies and you, sir, if I may be allowed to ask the questions, thank you very much.
Sorry, Inspector, please continue. But you must understand we're all very shocked and...
Well, you see, we just can't understand. I mean, was Doris really the intended victim?
you mean it could have been any one of us could have been poisoned? God bless Kate, that's all I can say.
To continue, may I ask how the refreshments were prepared? Mrs. Jones?
Well, we all brought our contributions and put them in the kitchen. I made the tea.
I laid the table, teacup, saucer, plate, and knife for and there's a chocolate gâteau. Emma, I made a pretty little one.
And I left my scones in the Tupperware box. Just took off the lid. Far too many for a plate.
And the jam, Mrs. Drinkwater? Did you decant it into a bowl?
Oh no, it just took off the cover. And well, stuck a teaspoon into it. We all helped ourselves. Put a dollop on our plate, and then we just spread it. That's it! The knives! One particular knife.
Oh, not
was on a
again.
knife.
Not again. Can we just get on with it, Sally? I've got to get to Sainsbury's.
Of course, she's right. Hey, you had a little sneaky peek at the script, have you, Sally?
But how could any one of them know which knife the bits would use?
But they all sat in the same place. And you just said, Moira
Look.
laid the table.
For the last time, can we concentrate? Okay, just concentrate. We're going to do this tonight. Look, carry on, Sally. Go back to put a dollop on a plate.
Put a dollop on our plate, and then we spread it with a knife, and the jam was lovely, wasn't it?
Indeed it was, Daphne. You really are so clever. Not just in your garden, but also in your kitchen.
Well, I do try. I really do. I'm not always successful. Not always. But I do appreciate that, Annette.
Oh, bless. You're such a sweetie, Annette. Always something nice to say about everyone.
Hold on. Excuse me, ma. But when Moira laid the table, she hadn't put enough knives on
And Annette went to the kitchen to get another one. For Doris Wight didn't have a knife.
Oh, it's not your phone going off.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Michael. I thought
Switch
I'd
it off.
forgotten it.
It looks like it's pointing towards home.
Yeah, long as just down.
All right. What is it?
Hello? Yes? I have White Radio? Yeah,
Oh, right.
sorry, we've all had our phones off because we're rehearsing for tonight. Yes?
What?
No!
What?
No!
What do
Miss
they want?
Mabel!
Mate?
She's been poisoned!
Mate?
She's dead!
Mate's dead.
And the show for tonight is cancelled.
Do you know what order you're doing them? Yes, which one? Which number one? Right, okay. So, the poems are the poems by the Thank you very much, Ellen.
My poem is called Be Glad Your Nose Is on Your Face by Jack Produtsky. Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place. For if it were where it is not, you might dislike your nose a lot. Imagine if your precious nose was sandwiched in between your toes. That clearly would not be a treat. You'd be forced to smell your feet. Your nose would be a source of dread were it attached atop your head. It soon would drive you to despair, forever tickled by your hair. Within your ear, your nose would be an absolute catastrophe. When you were obliged to sneeze, your brain would rattle from the breeze. Your nose instead, through thick and thin, remains between your eyes and chin, not pasted on some other place. Be glad your nose is on your face.
I've chosen The King's Breakfast by A.A. Milne. The King asked the Queen, and the Queen asked the dairymaid, could we have some butter for the royal slice of bread? The Queen asked the dairymaid said certainly. I'll go and ask the cow now, before she goes to bed. The dairymaid, she curtsied and went and told the orderly, don't forget the butter for the royal slice of bread. The orderly said sleepily, you'd better tell His Majesty that many people nowadays like marmalade instead. The dairymaid said, fancy, and went to Her Majesty. She curtsied to the Queen and she went a little red. Excuse me, Your Majesty, for taking of the liberty, but marmalade is tasty if it's very thickly spread. The Queen said, oh, and went to His Majesty. Talking of the butter for the royal slice of bread, many people think that marmalade is nicer. Would you like to try a little marmalade instead? The King said, bother. And then he said, oh, dearie me. The King sobbed, oh, dearie me, and went to bed. Nobody, he whimpered, could call me a fussy man. I only want a little bit of butter for my bread. The Queen said, there, and went to the dairymaid. The dairymaid said, there, and went to the shed. The cow said, there, I didn't really mean it. Here's milk for his porringer and butter for his bread. The Queen took the butter and brought it to His Majesty. The King said, butter, eh? And bounced out of bed. Nobody, he said as he kissed her. Nobody, he said tenderly, could call me, as he slid down the banisters, nobody, my darling, could call me a fussy man. But I do like a bit of butter to my bread.
Oh.
Right, my turn now. Hello everybody, I would just like to share my love of pigs with everybody tonight. I've always been very fond of pigs when I grew up on the farm. And Winston Churchill also was very fond of pigs, so he said that a cat looks down on you, a dog looks up to you, but a pig treats you as its equal. So the poem I've got is a traditional poem, and it says, it's called The Company He Chooses. 'Twas an evening in November, as I very well remember, and I strolled along the street in drunken pride. But my knees were all aflutter, and I landed in the gutter, and a pig came up and lay down by my side. As I lay there in the gutter thinking thoughts I couldn't utter, a colleen passing by did softly say, you can tell a man who boozes by the company he chooses, and at that the pig got up and walked away.
My poem is by Marriott Edgar, and it's about a vegetable which was once considered quite extravagant and wasn't normally eaten by the common man, and I'll leave you to guess what it is. Mr. Ramsbottom went to the races, a thing as he'd ne'er done before, and as luck always follows beginners, won £5, no less and no more. He felt himself suddenly tempted to indulge in some reckless orgy, so he went to a cafeteria and had a dressed crack with his teeth. He was crunching the clothes at the finish and wondering what next he would do, when his thoughts turned to home and to mother and what she would say when she knew. For mother were dead against racing and said as she thought were a sin for people to gamble their money without being certain to win. These homely domestic reflections seemed to cast quite a gloom on Pa's day. So he thought, I'll buy her a present and square up the matter that way. 'Twere a bit of a thing to decide on what to select for this year. So he started to look in shop windows in the hopes that he'd get some idea. He saw some strange stuff in a fruit shop started off home with his purchase, picturing Ma all the next week eating asparagus fried with her bacon or mashed up in bubbling squeak. He knew when she heard he'd been grazing, she'd nigh near talking to death. So he thought he would call in the local to strengthen his nerve and his breath. He'd hardly got up to the counter when a friend of his walked in the bar. He said, "What you got in the bundle?" "Oh, it's a present for Mother," said Pa. "'Tis asparagus off the top seat." Said his friend, "It's a rum-looking plant. Can I have the green ends for my rabbits?" "Ah," said Pa, "cut off what you want." So they cut all the ends off one bundle, and more friends arrived one by one, and each of them seemed to keep rabbits, but no green ends left when they'd done. When he got home, the house was in darkness, so he slipped in sly as a fox, put the asparagus on the kitchen table, and crept up to bed in his socks. He got up without waking Mother, a truly remarkable feat, and pictured her telling the neighbours, "Oops, asparagus off the top seat." But when he awoke the next morning, 'twas nigh on 10:15, there were no sign of Mother or breakfast. He said, "What's she done with her son?" He shouted, "What's up there in the kitchen?" She said, "You might well inquire. Them bundles of chips that you brought home is so damp I can't light the fire."
I chose this poem because it happens to be when I'm really up. It's all about getting old, but it's fun. It's called Warning by Jenny Jones. When I'm old, I shall wear purple, with a red hat that doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals and say, "We've no money for butter." I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells and rub my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in slippers in the rain. And pick flowers from other people's gardens and learn to split. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickles for a week, and hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must wear clothes that keep us dry and pay our rent and not swear in the street, and set a good example for the children. We must have friends to dinner, read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so that when people who know me will not be shocked and surprised when suddenly I'm old and start to wear purple.
Hi everybody. Well, I'm not going to recite a poem to you this evening because I can hardly remember the lines and they always get muddled up anyway. So, and perhaps I should practice a bit more, but it's finding the time. How many of us nowadays have time, even if we're pensioners, to read the newspaper each day? Well, I had the perfect opportunity the other day. I was going to visit my son, and then taking a 3.5-hour-long train journey. I mean, it was a surprise for his 50th birthday, because I hardly ever hear from him. The occasional phone call, and a card at Christmas and on my birthday, but they're usually written in his wife's handwriting. Anyway, the paper I happened to pick up to alleviate the boredom on the train journey happened to be one of those posh ones, you know, for intellectuals. And it wasn't long before I started to glance at the front page. It was a bit boring, it was just politics and about Brexit. The back page, sport, racing, celebrities came into it. Then there was finance and business and a whole section on travel. A whole page on puzzles, but they would have taken me more than 3.5 hours to solve. And then I came across a real gem page, written by all sorts of mad eccentrics. It was the letters page. And there was one that I felt quite akin to, actually, although it was signed Anon. And I wondered if you had the same thoughts as well. So I'd like to just read it to you. It starts, "Sir, I have finally come to the conclusion that my 73-year-old mother has become a born-again teenager. She sleeps all hours in the morning, never does any work, and plays the radio and television far too loudly. Her driving is atrocious, as is that of most of her friends, although she will never admit it or that she is ever in the wrong. Her dress sense has stayed the same for so long it has actually come back into fashion. And whenever I suggest something, she ignores it, until one of her friends says exactly the same thing, and then it becomes a good idea. Many of her friends drink far too much. They are nearly all on drugs. They claim medicinal, not narcotic. But I reserve judgment on that. All in all, I think she's just at that difficult age." And it was signed Anon. Now, do you think my son has finally put pen to paper? Even if it is to a newspaper.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce Christopher, who is missing, because he wanted to recite some poetry in the manner of the poet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Christopher Hurst.
I am Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. I shook the world. When I beat Sonny Liston to win the title for the first time, I shook the world. When I won the title for the second time, and I shook the world when I won it for the third time and beat that really ugly man, Leon Spinks. Not only am I the greatest, not only am I champion of the world, as you can see, I am also a poet. Is there any kind lady who would like to take my gown? God. Here is my poem. Ali, me, we. Thank you and good night.
We have given you that big bill for 3 words. There was supposed to be another poem.
You told me to keep it short and sweet, don't you? And hanging around 14.
The other evening you did something a bit longer. Where's that poem?
Well, that's on the chair. Now, that's kind of a little bit difficult to read, and I watched Ali on YouTube, and even he made a mistake.
All right, I'll hold it. Because of course, you can't hold it, because you've got your gloves on.
You're not as dumb as you look.
All right, carry on. Right, another poem by Muhammad Ali. Go on.
Okay. In 1974, Ali fought the Rumble in the Jungle and won his second world championship title against George Foreman. And this is the poem he wrote beforehand. Last night, I had a dream when I got to Africa. There was going to be one hell of a rumble. I had to whip Tarzan's behind first for claiming to be king of the jungle. For this fight, I wrestled with alligators, tussled with a whale, handcuffed lightning, threw thunder in jail. Now you know I'm bad. Just last week, I murdered a stone, I injured a rock, I hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I made medicine sick. You go. Okay, tell me then, come on, come on.
I'm so fast, man.
I'm so fast, man. I can run through a hurricane and don't get wet. When George Foreman meets me, he'll pay his debt. I can kill a drink of water and kill a dead tree. Wait till they see Muhammad Ali.